Hello guys, and welcome to the worst way to play Grand Theft Auto 5. Today, we're starting a new series. Essentially, I wanted to try to find out whether or not you could firstly play all these blockbuster titles on their lowest possible graphical settings, and secondly, whether they were still fun. Now, we're not in some kind of like parallel blocky universe. As you can see, this is the resolution that the mirror sits at on the lowest possible settings. I'll quickly pop into the pause menu just to show you guys that we are running everything on absolute basics here. If we go into the graphics, you can see we're running 800 by 600, a glorious resolution with everything completely set to the lowest it will possibly go. They do say normal, but there is nothing worse than normal in this case, and the advanced graphic settings are all completely turned off. Now, I wanted to start off this video firstly by telling you guys what the minimum specifications are for this game, and then we will get kind of stuck in. I'll spend a bit of time wandering around and showing you guys how things look in this game. And actually, you'll be surprised, a lot of these things are actually maintaining their graphical settings, which is really cool, especially like that bike there, for example, and I noticed over here there's a cereal box that looks like pretty much the same as it does when you're in the highest possible settings. So there are some things, some textures that don't have lower quality settings. But anyway, the minimum specifications are an Intel Core 2 Quad CPU, which is a Q6600 or better. And the AMD side is an AMD Phenom 9850 Quad processor or better. Needs 4 GB of RAM and either a 9800 GT or a 4870, essentially. And that is... Are you having some fun there, lady? And I mean, surprisingly enough, the characters don't look too bad either. It's really interesting. If we go into third-person mode, you can see that actually Franklin has maintained quite a lot of his graphical fidelity, which is pretty interesting. But we're going to spend a bit of time wandering around the streets of Grand Theft Auto, find out things like how close the cars spawn in, how fast you can go before you get too fast for the game to handle you. Let's go have a look outside and see how it all looks. Well, it's raining. Oh, and we've got to save the game because apparently walking out of a door means we need to save. Let's take our Buffalo out for a spin here and see how good it looks. Hopefully you guys like the concept of the show. I kind of feel like it should be really interesting to find out whether or not, because there are all these blockbuster titles like Dying Light and all these new games that have been coming out recently, which do have relatively competitive low graphical settings, but whether or not they're actually enjoyable at those settings is a completely different question entirely. So I thought we could answer that question by giving it a go and starting playing and just having some fun with the games. So right now I am going pretty much as fast as I can in the rain. Oh god, it's actually quite hard to tell like what's coming up in front of you. But that's fine. We're in. We just ended up in that little road next to where is it? What was it called? San Andreas. I know words. San Andreas was there, wasn't it? There's a little mission in that section of the game where the little cul-de-sac is. Now you can see obviously basic things that computers that are as low end as this that will need to be able to do, like not have not consoles, buildings go into high quality until you get to. Let's have a look here. So this building here, for example, if we go backwards again, oh, we can't because there's a car there. Okay, well, let's take a look then. Let's go round and have a look at this one in front of us here. Does that come in at a shorter point here? It looks like actually that building came in quite early. Okay. Well, it does seem to be that actually when you look around, you see how if I look at this building in the corner of my eye, those shadows actually fade away from them. So I guess it gives you more graphical prowess of the things that you're looking for, the things that are directly in front of you. Actually, the vehicle spawning isn't that bad. You can see that it is pretty much on the horizon of my view right now. I think the best thing for us to do probably would actually be to go and head onto a freeway. If we just quickly turn on the radar here so we can have a little look at that and see how that looks. Settings, camera, nope, display, sorry. There we go, radar on. There we go, lovely. Right, okay. And if we just head over, let's see what the best direction to go is for us here. Let's head over to this part of the freeway here. That's probably the closest one to us right now. We get a chance to have a little look around here, find out how everything does look, and then what we'll do is we'll spend a little bit of time going over to somewhere like the military base, see if we can steal a jet and be able to take that out before the guys notice that we're there. Because it'll be also interesting to find out whether or not the AI or the amount of military presence changes when you do run the game on some lower settings. Now, as you guys can see, I am running the game on 60 FPS, so this video has been uploaded at 1080p 60 FPS. So I've kind of upscaled the game, but that's only to maintain fidelity. I'm not doing anything like trying to upscale the pixel count or anything like that. So what you see pretty much is what I'm experiencing right now, where we're not doing any sort of like After Effects or anything like that at all. Okay. So let's get down here and start spending a bit of time getting some speed up and just seeing whether or not we can do something really simple, like not worry too much about oncoming traffic. As you can see, cars essentially are spawning in just on that horizon there. If you look behind there, you saw that van spot in there, so that's about as far as they are kind of like spawning in. Oh god, yep, well then that's fun. I think the distance in which cars do spawn in would be a little bit better on other graphic settings, because as you have seen before, we can turn this game right up, because the other games on my channel, the other GTA 5 videos, are the game completely maxed out, because the computer that I'm doing all my editing on can actually run all games at max settings, which is very, very useful. But if you can play games on minimum settings, why not give it a go and just let everybody know whether or not it is actually possible to enjoy. And to be honest with you, it doesn't feel too bad. I mean, yeah, there are lots of textures and shaders and things that are sort of like popping in quite an urgency. And some of that might be to do with the fact that we are running the game on some pretty high-end SSDs. But even if you're running on a rotary disk, I don't feel like the computer would struggle to handle this. As we said before, it's only an 862 megabyte game on your graphics card at the lowest possible settings. So let's head over to somewhere where we can get in trouble. If we go over to where the nice bit of a drive for us here to get over to the military complex. It's 5 kilometers away, so that should only take a couple of minutes anyway. A good chance for us just to spend a bit of time just actually driving for fun and just enjoying the experience, I think, really. Because this game does actually seem to... It's always interesting, as I said before, to find out whether or not companies have actually spent time to optimize their lower graphical settings. Because there are a few games, as you will find out as you watch this series on a... I'm going to intend to do these like a couple of times a week. You're going to find out that essentially a lot of these games don't put any time in or effort into making their games look good for some of the more, let's say, graphically challenged computers out there. We're talking about integrated graphics laptops, for example. I mean, these sort of settings, I imagine, would work quite well on a laptop. I don't know for sure. That's the interesting thing. We haven't really got a chance to experience that, and a lot of the time I do spend my time trying to make sure I can run the best possible settings for you, so you can see how good the game can look. But let's stop for a minute and just see how bad the game can look. Surprisingly enough, not that bad, actually, realistically. The driving experience is exactly the same, which you would expect, because it's the same game, essentially, just with all the graphics turned down. But the draw distance is good. I'm not finding that things are spawning into the world at an uncomfortable pace, so we can still dodge traffic quite nicely. We can anticipate when things are going to be coming in. You do notice things spawning in as you go, like if we look on the right hand side here, you can see when additional foliage is spawning in, actually quite close to us. But that's actually, ironically enough, the same even if you're running the best possible settings. There's a lot of higher end grass, for example, which you can look at when you're on the highest possible settings. There was a collision just then between two cars, which interests me because obviously these cars are spawning in at a later stage. Does that mean that their AI is also spawning in at a later stage and it's making it more difficult for them to work together and like anticipate collisions and things? Because you don't usually see people just straight up crash into one another like that. That was pretty interesting. Okay. Well, we're in a good position now. We don't have any police presence right this second, so we should be okay to do this jump. I'm going to get my speed up to as best as possible. We'll run the game in third person for a little bit now, just so we can get a chance to see how it looks in third person as well as first person, because I know there are people out there who like to run it in both. So the jump was nice and easy to make. I could quite clearly see the point that I needed to jump on. We have the presence of the police here now. There's a jet taking off or landing or something. I'm not sure. Okay, so it looks like, surprisingly enough, we do have a reasonable amount of military presence here. We've got a couple of choppers and a couple of planes. We've got some decent military on the ground as well. We've lost a tyre, but that was kind of expected. Let's try to not damage this jet if we can avoid it. Okay, we've got to hop out now. We are completely on our arse. Now, the question is whether or not we can do it from the other side here and not get killed too badly. No tanks yet, but that sometimes doesn't happen anyway. There's a Titan spawned in as well there. We're not getting too hurt here. We managed to get inside the jet. Okay, go. Go, 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 go. Surprisingly enough, we're off. Oh, we got blown to hell. Oh, man. That's surprising. Okay, so we've managed to answer a good couple of questions here. The AI for the police and things does seem to be able to maintain a good amount of presence. There is still a number of people shooting at you. It still makes it difficult to steal vehicles and stuff like that. We can try getting a high-speed chase going to finish this video off to see exactly whether or not we are able to have a really interesting, high-octane, high-action police chase. We might be able to. We'll have to give it a go. Let's cause a ruckus over here. Ready? Hey, guys. I want to cause a ruckus. If you don't mind, I'm just going to... Oh, we'll let that person go. Nice! Around the face. Yeah. This is good. And you're down. So hopefully that other person who saw what I did will call the cops, and we can start to get a decent cop presence. Look at this! Lowest possible graphic settings, and we have... wow, okay. There's a nice graphical little bit of a sunset going on over here with a little bit of lens flare. Well, I mean, I've got to say, guys, I wasn't expecting there to be some sexy lens flare. That's good. That looks nice. Okay, well, let's get on the road and just see if we can cause some problems for some people. I think that person there actually, ironically enough, spawned in before the bench did, I think, from what I was looking at there. I'm not 100% sure. The game actual window that I'm playing this game on for you guys is incredibly small. So there's that. Yeah, again, there's a collision there. Oh, this is interesting. I think that having the lower fidelity of the graphics on here and the lower draw distance for things is actually affecting the AI's ability to anticipate collisions, especially on the higher speed roads, because the roads obviously are on the motorways are much quicker. Vehicles move at a faster pace. As you can see, this person's moving at a pretty good rate of knots. If we spawn in a vehicle who is actually going to turn and go into like the motorway, the petrol station, for example, the gas station, if you're American, then it doesn't anticipate that particularly well. So how are we going to be able to try and recreate this? I think it's just a matter of luck. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go from the other direction, because that's how it happened last time, and we'll see if we can recreate an AI collision situation. That would be pretty interesting. But at least we know that if we wanted to play this game on our laptop, even if it had integrated graphics, it might not actually work on integrated graphics, to be fair with you, because it does say on the minimum graphical settings it does need an 8800 GT or the other AMD card, which I can't remember what it was called. But when you're running like a laptop that has a really bad mobile chipset, nothing there, no collisions going on. That's very, very interesting. Anyway, when you're running on a laptop that has a low-end graphics card or a mobile chipset, then I think that you're actually going to be able to still enjoy this game. I don't feel like this is a game-breaking experience. There are a couple of weird things that would have to investigate in more detail, and we could always do that on another video. If you guys like this video, then please do make sure that you leave it a like, and we'll say that if we get, for example, let's say 200 likes on any of these videos, then I will come back and make a second follow-up video to look in more depth and find out whether or not any of the claims or any of the things that we found are actually true. The track there is really struggling to draw in. Maybe it doesn't consider that to be a priority, because you can see it spawns in a chunk of it, but then waits until there to actually get the next part in. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching, guys. This has been the worst way to play Grand Theft Auto 5. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you loved it and you want to see more. And I'll see you all next time, guys. Take care. Bye-bye. You've been watching the Gaffcast. We hope you have enjoyed the show. Don't forget to check out all of our other videos. Oh, and be sure to subscribe to us if you like what you see. That way I'll know to make more and that you really like me. So, you've been watching the Gaffcast. We hope you have enjoyed the show. Don't forget to check out all of our other videos.